moma yenhwe asori den mu a yewo yekọ mosque so are saying na yekọ no if you are yebekọ traditional worship for no so omo nso saying no omo aye omo niama enti bibisa say is this spirituality? What is actually spirituality? Is it like this church? Is it like this mosque? Is it like this traditional worship? Is it like this Buddhism? When we want to talk about spirituality or worship, what is worship and what is spirituality? If you were asked to explain what African spirituality is, what would you say? Say, Bisao say, what is African spirituality? What would you say? What I want each and every one of us to understand is that there be a universe, no, a what connection with no, a ye at the cross. The universe only division, only differences, or ye at the cross because or ye juma with rules and regulations. Obi maybe say dear ben at the cross. You better share the chronology when they say worshiper. What is worship? Is Christianity now not a tradition of African spirituality? What about Islam and traditional religion that have been with us for hundreds of years? Are they part of African spirituality? I welcome you to Spiritual Hour. I am the goddess, I am the pride, I am the voice of your ancestors. Abusia Mankran Krebia Akwaba, I believed you. I believed you, I believed you, I believed you, I believed you, and I send you love, I send you love. Wherever you are, I send you hope, I send you joy, and I send you peace. I send you joy, I send you joy, I send you joy. In times of trouble, in times of struggling, I am sending you love, I'm sending you encouragement. I believed you, I do not bless you, and I wish you nature day wherever you are. I welcome you to Spiritual Hour. I am always the pride of your ancestors. I am the goddess. I am the mouthpiece or the medium. They speak through me, they smell through me, and they hear through me. Every little information they want to give to us, they pass it through me. I welcome you, my people, and I send you love. It's another great day. We talk African spirituality, they be African spirituality. So now everybody is pouring libation, both young, old, and fat. Everybody is pouring libation. Baby, I'll be febia na ye nananum, and I ye nananum, and I ye nananum, ye nananum no ye ndiana, omusisi honana. Somebody is asking, say me, I may say, ancestors, you know, I am. They see themselves through us. Whatever you do, if it is well and it is how they wish we could go or think, then they see that in you, that you are saying what they would want to say. It's not about having a diabia somewhere, naming it and all that. Today we are going to talk about African spirituality. The universe itself, no, adiebia e govern no, ana enuna e rule no or dear mankind no. And also say the laws are a guide and a govern mankind in universe. Now eka ye boom emma eya the crow because eya the crow medical catch say we are the macro universe and the bigger one is the micro universe. This is where Jesus said, I and my Father are one. The man was talking about him being the smaller universe and this bigger universe that we see. We are the same thing. So there is nothing like reactions and divisions when it comes to spirituality. That is the law of the universe. So why this division, Christopher, the sect, this is not okay. When you come to Islam, Christians will say Islam is this, Buddhism is this, and putting up a way of dressing and all that. Is that African spirituality? Or because they've been here with us for ages, no, it has become part of us, and now root. That is what we are going to discuss today. Everybody, when asked about African spirituality, will immediately move away from Christianity and straight to the deities of Africa. But is it a fact that we as blacks have always worshipped deities? I need answers. Is that our way of life? Is worshipping traditional gods the way of African spirituality? And was there ever anything like that for Africans? I want us to think about it and answer all these questions, because somebody might lie to you. It's okay, but it's very difficult for you to lie to yourself. That is unimaginable. When the traditional priest is about to pour libation, he raises it up to show to the Father God, and shows it down. Asasiya. The male Godhead system of worship is found in Christianity, Islam, traditional religions, and almost all religions. So how have traditional gods become part of African spirituality? I want us to know this, because if we talk about African spirituality, which is the traditional worship that everybody actually frowns at, they also call the same God you are calling. Omo Jesus anyame na omo friend no owo soro ho intino omo fa twedi ampon kwame ensa asase ya ensa. So they've not left the God in heaven out. Same as Muslims praying to God up there with the sickle moon as a sign and token, and same as Christians also praying to the God up there with their sign as a cross. That means death that we cannot talk about. So what I want to understand is, all this worshipping, has it always been part of African spirituality? Is it part of our tradition? What actually is African spirituality? I welcome you to Spiritual Hour. I am always the pride of our ancestors, and they speak through me. So I have this information for you. Was this their way of worship? What I'm about discussing with you is not in any book. You can equally take it anyhow you want it. But we are discussing African spirituality because it is becoming an issue that everybody feel when you talk Christian feels African spirituality or no on, but you are also calling Tedi and Pona. So which is which? What I want us to understand is that everything a universe in a government a one thing. Nobody teaches a child how to have sex when the child grows. Nobody teaches the child how to suck breast. Nobody. Nobody teaches how to get pregnant and how to do things. When you go out there, abrochi, everywhere, we all do the same thing. We all do the same thing. Every country, every species, every continent, the same thing. Everybody eats, everybody sleeps, everybody get pregnant, everybody have sex, everybody, you can name it. The way we even stir things, everybody stirs it one way to glorify the universe. It tells how much we are one people. We stir ourselves together. The reason when we are stirring tea, Americans don't stir tea differently from the way Africans stir tea. Chinese, everybody stirs tea the same way. That tells you how the universe governs us and puts us together. So if religion is of God, if worship is of God, why the division? Why the confusion? Why the different translation? The Bible has different translations, a lot of different sects, the same as Christian Muslims. They have Sunnah, they have Ahmadiyya. They also, if it's the same God that owns this one universe and created mankind one as his kind, and he wants us to worship him, why this confusion and why this division? Is everything we do here African spirituality? The African spirituality, no be what toys, no chamo jegu form near. Is that African spirituality? Actually, is that what our great grandfathers were worshiping? There are things we forget about easily because it is part of human life that you forget. The reason things that has happened in our land 100 years ago is not everything that we remember. Such is life and such is worship. So what is African spirituality today? Our topic is Mother God. The topic is Mother God. When you talk Mother God, what is African spirituality? And I always say, today we are going to delve into it. Like I told you, say afia ye remedi ye be descend ya koda ye be kutututu nyama ai wa sie ni nyina e de abasoro. Me man krankra bia kwa aba na me man krankra bia so afishiapa na happy new year. Me wish you obia happy new year because afefoforo ne ya be wuremu me bompa ye say ana masem ana makoma so ade ni say ensi wiye onyame ana obo ade no oma hu na wonte wo ho ase because last week we heard about darkness. I want each and every one of us to work on him or herself so we are able to put ourselves together and get up there. The patriarchal church or male godhead worship system started in ancient Egypt before the coming of the Greeks, Romans, and Persians. The first male god was called Peter. This was African worship, but is this the root of African spirituality? The answer is a big fat no. But every African is saying that African spirituality started from Peter. When you sit with researchers who are researching, blacks. When you sit in the classroom, the school I went, there were 57 white. I was the only black woman and a man, and I'm a woman. And when you sit and they talk about the research now, they come back and they come and hit this Peter man. But I tell myself, is this the beginning of African spirituality or is this part of African spirituality? If you have the answer, you can put it there. Is this Peter man, is the Peter God or Peter worship actually the root of African spirituality? They will go back. And they say, let's ask ourselves questions. The best way to learn is to ask questions. The reason here, Africa, your biggest problem because you bisa questions. But not because papa won't mean bisa papa question, won't mean bisa mama questions. You have to be obedient. That's where this whole thing starts from. A banner say, okay, do man to me bisa boss question, warrior to me bisa or area na mama question. But we forget that Akola needs to add ne papa question. The reason being that sperm can come out of every man. Sabe, a madman, sabe, obia na jene and tosso and all that. They all come on heat and they all generate sperm and they can all make children. So if you tell a child not to ask ne papa questions because ne papa sabe facha me, obia ne papa sabe bodeni bi ne sabe bodeni ba ada omo awo no. Na odini papa echi no ye bodani na ose mo ombisa question no sa akola no so mboda mana. This is one of the biggest Africans problem. Don't ask question about anything, just obey. And this is what is killing us, killing our future, killing our creativity, killing our spirituality, and killing everything. This is a question I'm asking. Is Peter the root of African spirituality? What is African spirituality? Is the shrines and the deities and everything we see African spirituality? Is that actually the root of African spirituality? Our ancestors, our fathers, our great-grandfathers, was that their way of worshiping or their way of worship? That is what we are discussing today. And the answer is no. If no, then what is it? I have told you, anytime I say anything, I add solutions to it or answers to it. I might not know all, but my comment section is also open for everybody's comment, and the Revelations platform is equally open. You are welcome to teach us if there is anything you also want to add, or even if you want to debunk, don't worry, feel free and come. We are learning together because our spirituality is shattered, and it's going through a lot of transition. So to put it together, we have to join force and put every particle of information we get into it. But we need to ask questions. When we go back a few thousand years before the god Peter was established in ancient Akebulan, our ancestors' first ever deity was a female deity called Hathor. Was the first ever god known to mankind. Na oba ena na oye onyankropon edema nipa dasani na mechirim. Hathor is the first god of worship that was established by African ancestors. This is the first time humans have worshipped any deity ever. So it's actually not Peter, but it is Hathor, a female deity. And I'm coming to explain this, and I will tell you something that the main people feel the reason African is suffering is disobeying God. And I think today I have to gather courage to tell Africans the real reason why we are suffering, and if care is not taken, we will suffer the more. So you will ask, if people didn't know about gods, what made them establish worship for Hathor? They decided to worship the first deity Hathor. Oyo oba no die enti no me ba be kire wo mu na wo de atoto ewiase nyina ho ahwe. Say universe na e govern nipa nyina, ohu nipa nyina, say nipa ye nipa koro. Anyankro pompo be sin ne ye nim so ye China ni anaso so ye Ghana ni no, because ohu nipa nyina say nipa e ya de koro no. Nti ne ye nyina ye ya de koro a e collaborate na connecting with the universe. Be na mabobo swatcher about sex, about making of babies, pregnancy, everywhere you go is the same. So how did this came about? So you will ask, if people didn't know about gods, what made them establish worship for Hathor? Hathor is the god of beauty, music and birth. Beauty, music and birth. Up till now, you can find this among women. Beauty, music and birth. Obeme bi eni asasi so enyo oba ene wo no ena wo hwe enwuma. It's rather unfortunate say see no Ghana kra de enkan na females no na esi yenti e ma na te ahwe. I tell you, say man na te hwe a e ma na emobo. It was so. She is the mother cow. The first mother is God. The reason why ancient Africans created Hathor as a god can be explained by the symbols found by archaeologists in her temple. Archaeologists if we. Omo tutu Egypt nyina, omo tutu omo krom graveyard we bi enya 300 years and ye keke ka ho. Omo bo ho ban the toughest ne keke ka ho kogu ho. Omo aka kire yen say yen ye de ne ye abronsam ye bosomsom. Nti yen so yage yatom. E na omo de tuwa na omo tu ye nananom ndom peni ne ekeke ka ho. I don't know what they are looking for. Keep digging, keep digging. Every day they are digging something. One day will be their day. She is depicted in temples as a woman with two angels worshipping her two top columns, which are her breast and her bottom column. The angels are on their knees between these two top columns, and the one down is worshipping. Inti sa image no eno na media to screen so no, it was in his temple, and archaeologists could dig and omoko yi sa eho no. na Africa for one kasankasa de ye mobo to extend say yanhwe ni ye bibia ye evil no ye betumi ehia Nyankopon no ye the unknown God na ye se ye do no na ye som no ye betumi ehia no one day say ye be friend evil ni apa no ho, then we will end up chasing the wind or chasing nothing. That I know ne yadwen I sa ne yadwen ye yen ewo ho. She is depicted in the temples as a woman with two angels. Ubehu aya etai wo ho bebre. Ubehu say angels no on baako wo ni nufu ha, baako wo ni nufu ha. Even the sphinx ewo Giza plateau no ho no kra yoba, it looks like a cow. If we can take our time and learn and understand these things, we are able to liberate ourselves. Until we say angel ne baako ewo ne breast side ha, breast side and we nearly are all worshiping breast no, and I will share middle ho so we say angel baako and we nearly wo ne middle ho no so worshiping ne property na ni cocoa farm na ewo ho no no. Over the head of Hathor are stars that represent the heavens. Enti so we almost say a man kata omutiri so. Why is it so? Mama, I ask you deeper questions. Now, even whether it's a myth or not, no, we come back to Enoch. So story, we a researcher, we nim way. Back say when the angels came, no, it is the hair of the women now. Ye no money die. So entino we call down who be who angel no okoto ho na o worshiping the cocoa farm no ni o worshiping the breast and fe stars no e wo hot, so they see women ana omu hu Hathor ogina ho ma oba no ana Hathor obi a wo de wo pronounce no omu hu ne te say oye a god ana a deity. Why did they feel so? A deity na no omu hu sa no omu susu sa. I continue. You are watching Spiritual Hour with Maame Grace. The explanation is this. Africans experience great joy and happiness, happiness, no one say heaven, in a space between the breast of a woman and the cocoa farm. See, sometimes I don't know why we want to see the heavens open with someone coming with whatever before we are able to think. What I say? African spirituality started from Hathor, a woman, and this were their reasons. Entia omo conclude yes Hathor eye Nyankopon, because mbema no na omo brea omo hu omo peace aduane omo di omo hu wo ho na omo wie so when they go into a woman, they see some kind of joy with the breast and the cocoa farm. So when this thing happened, and then they realize that omo yes no omo create omo kind through the woman. Baby omo ko ye no omo koho epie enya joy enya happiness. They've seen heaven. And truthfully, up till now, there is no man that will go into a woman that will not react with peace and happiness. That is why when they want to go into that heaven, they are like crazy. Nobody teaches anybody about this. It is the way of worship, and Africans were so intelligent, and don't forget, they are creation. They are the owners of this world. Every black child is a higher soul. And you know, they knew all these things are any universe collaborating. So they realized that the fact that we see all these things with Hathor, should we worship him? And the worship no cry about no, they realize that they worship because there is no man sleeping with a woman that will not kneel down. You will kneel down before you enter the heaven. Ti omo se obi en kwa heaven agese wabre no ho ase. That is da ho brase. Even MP obetumi a share pajamas etwa 360 e wo no ye the camera ti no ye twa just because he wants to enter into that kingdom. One day we will talk about that kingdom and the dimension that you can see under a woman, and then you will see why Africa will never prosper, because they don't respect women. They be a religion say man into her, religion say man into her, and they are following. And the very people that brought you religion, African man, a woman, a woman is the God and the gateway to heaven, and the creation, us worshiping as a queen and not as a god. Now would you obedi be free baby be kachire o se menye nanso ono uko Araba, how many women are working? How many women are working? Have you seen Arab women so we be in Nimumpoda? They worship them. Go to the Western world. They place women first, they place children, they place animals before they add men to it. This is spirituality, and this is what Africans were doing. They were worshiping their women. So this, all these things happened, and they told us that this is evil. What they were not doing, they told us it was evil. We ran away from it, and they have grabbed it. And the Western world is growing because women has upper hand there. They understand why they are doing that. And Africans will not search. We believe that is African spirituality. I want everybody to listen to this. The platform is open. If you think what I'm saying is not there, don't worry. You just come. It is free. Call me everywhere you are. If you can't come, me myself, I'll carry my people and then we will come there. Sex is the heaven of Hathor that gives birth to humans. So Hathor was the creator of all mankind. I don't see why we've labeled assassin as a woman. The universe doesn't belong to anybody. They are here, they are obeying rules, making sure mankind is okay. So where from all this worship? You worship naturally when you are born a woman. You worship naturally when you are born a man. Does this happen? When you are born a man, you get on your knee to get into a woman to create your kind. The woman creates your kind for you. And when you were a woman, Bible say, humble yourself so your husband will love you. That's why you people buy us all the Brazilian hairs. You buy us all the Dolces and the Bottega slippers and all YSL bags and all that. The reason you people buy all these things for us, a man will work hard. If it's not him, his mother, it is his wife. If it's not his wife, it's her child. Why? Because they are worshiping the God, the natural God that the universe endorses. It's not about any toy that is somewhere that they are. I know you people will get angry, but that's the truth. Anything that the universe endorses, the same thing is done everywhere in the world that you go, because at the end of the day, it is one house. According to the ancient African man, heaven is not a place, but a part of a woman. So as time passed, they created symbols and later began to worship the symbols that indicate that. Our ancestors, when you go to Egypt right now and you go to the Giza Plateau, Oma were a lot of ratings at the microphone bubu at the nose, you know, everywhere. Just to, what are you trying to do? If Africans decide to wake up right now and decide to liberate themselves, it's not about what is broken, it's not about what it's written. It is the shackles that is in the brain that needs to be focused on. It loses our shackles, no, and the brain will start to procreate and imagine. So we are able to get into our originality. At the moment Africans get into the originality, I tell you, we will turn and liberate this land without lifting a needle. This has become a problem. So this is what African spirituality started, and this is where they are reason, which is vivid and it is universal. Everywhere you go, you see these things. According to the ancient African man, heaven is not a place but a part of a woman. So as time passed, they created symbols. Symbols and then baby a wubeko bi bibi siwa ye man akokwa ye man ngukoko ye man ngukoko ye man odwan ye man nantwie. It has become a problem because we decided not to delve deeper to understand what these people did for us. You can have any deity. You can get anything you want to worship, any religion. If you don't respect a woman, the country will suffer. The reason we keep suffering, because obewa sorry ho say ochie dwamambo no ni obi akonyensen wo secret no weja akola na to ho no ni obi twempena no weja akola na to ho, because obi hu ni nti ono oye papa. But I'm telling you, you are messing your way to heaven up, and there will be no heaven for you. It's not about the prayer, it's not about that noise. This is the creation of the first deity known to mankind. The body of the woman is God, the creator, and between the breast and the cocoa farm or VG is heaven, and above her are all the stars. This is the closest knowledge to the question of what African spirituality is. So it is right to say that African spirituality never existed. We didn't worship anything apart from ourselves until we saw that a woman was God. Later, our ancient ancestors created image of symbolism and began to worship that womanhood as Hathor, the goddess. This is African spirituality. Inti sa woni oba na koda na one na wo na oni up African ko na omo wa omo ja mema ni tumi ja nkola no gu, because emre bia nchechire omo na de bia no ni mema wo na kame na be oni ma na ewo ko na kame be president a ka woni obi ko wo no wan hwe ne pe na ma castrate you out wo so wo yo Kristo no ware ba ko pa wan ware ba ko no na akotwe mpena na mihu a me castrate you, because you are lying, and you are lying to yourself. Now, people are coming out that polygamy is not. You see, if you sleep with a woman, you keep her because onuna okita dimensions no ono so na creation efa ne mu ono na oma wadwen ye sound ono na oma wo peace. No matter how poor you are, if your wife decide to take care of you and give you great sex, your sanity is restored. But because of that, people are doing it anyhow. Our ancestors will keep any woman they decide to have that intercourse with. Mechira Ukrakan of marriage and how people marry to and all that. And these women are not from one kingdom. Obiane ne heaven. Ntini ye wo baby wo kwa ware na ape na wabra ba ye mobo. Ye we bi mu onso ware ne pe na wabra ba okosoro ye we bi no wo kwa wuntumi nja ne da. We will get into that part one fine day. So this is how African spirituality began, and they have every evidence. Way, vivid, natural, universal, happening everywhere. Everywhere you go in the world, this is how it is done. So that was how African spirituality started. That's why they placed that image in the death. They say bibi esom wo bono. Now person we yes sign bisi wo no obi obebe bia behwe so atwemba ye no. That is what they did, and placed the image of Hathor in all temples so that men will respect and worship the women, so the women are able to bless them, because wo koto na worshiping na wo kohwa na oba ne so bless you na wabrabo ayeye na wo hu wo kind efri nipa no mu. Your sanity is okay, and when you go and come home, you come and rest. This is how our ancestors almost share Hathor edito ho. Me kai say me crew ye call Benin show na mo share no ye call World Voodoo Market. Ye call ye na me hu say horn esi ho, and na me fire na me di see me tiri so. For why I did that, I didn't know. But me fa hon na me di see me so video ni ba na ye twa e ho na fi na me say na dey na we twa video no afri mu o say ma we dey me ba out a omo be kasa we ye bayifo enti me twa ho ni fi. I think I did that, and na me fa a snake kese bi so a skin e de cover me ho na omo twa ho ni free mu. We came back home ni week pepe and na ye hu say Beyonce at the horn of Hathor at the city. So that was when I said, hey, our brothers and sisters out there are researching. Beyonce decided to depict the origin of African spirituality. All Africans must hail that woman at that particular in time. But what happened to her? African spirituality is a modern theory Just like all other religions, Africans worship nothing but themselves. Later, they became excited about sex and womanhood. Then they created Hathor, the first goddess. Abusia, se yanye ya dwene se wahu, ya beto ya buni ye sua de. Se Beyonce depicted the god of Hathor, another first deity ever. The first deity ever Africans worshipper. Mama Urenfi, because I have told you that he's the goddess of music, beauty, and birth. I continue. Then they created Hathor, the first goddess. Na me kachira we say niyama we ye niyama yanyere ye husi ye besua. Ne ye ya dream say de bia ye hwehwe baabi a we will chase adenti na wo kwa asori. Na no yera wo na unsha akola no adenti na wo yosofo na no yera ko na wo die japade. How do you people treat women? Bible ni baabi kura. I remember when I started Adum TV. There is one man there with a fat tummy and a fat mouth who was trying to bash me. Say Bible say ma or ban kasa or baby ankotenase or baby ankananuntum. You see why we will continue to suffer? When we place where our heaven door is, that is where we would receive our blessings. How do you see African continent? African continent is sinking because we have shut. Now you demolish a man power. Where will you go? If your wife is vulnerable, you the man, you will suffer. If your wife is active and powerful, your life is easy. But how do we see it? Obema kuro tie ne yere asemuno. Almost say sabe ne yere ne jimino. Obema otie ne maame asem no oba beka so onware no nyansa nipa enini so obema otumi tie ne maame asem no hwe ne maame so no ono no betumi aye kumpade ama because we training ne ho to know how to handle women, and that man will always be a blessing. We forget to think about these things. What Beyonce did, nanka esa Africa nyina started some heli no because no twinya dwenako. That day when I saw that thing, I jubilated, and I was also why did this guy took my video off? Because right now baby edu no kofa bakro mbeka so bi binti no why. I'm not saying say me na me dey aba, but what I'm trying to say is say the spirit or that energy is still in every woman. Up till now me hu so be bi anyima or woda. See technology ni niam omu ye nyina no sabio kafra mo fanche mo hu so be bi anyensen ya owo fa ne dik muda debi. It can never happen. O transgender kra won't me nye. I don't know if there's anything like that. Move to me actual comment section ho na me hu. I will tell you about a fascinating story about our African heritage and identity. I am sure you have all seen or heard of the amazing film by Beyonce called Black is King, right? That woman is trying to communicate something, but because ombo duku na Bible nsi na pampamunti no, we don't want to hear. That is how far they have. That is how far they have robbed all our systems out. Ena oma planting bibi foforo. There is a movie called Get Out. I think every black should watch that movie. What are they depicting? What are they telling us? Our brains, has our brains been taken? Planting baby, the reason we can't think backwards. Have we lost our memory? This is African spirituality. Everybody will tell you that Christianity is not our part, Islamic is not our part, but the toys you are putting there, is it our part? Abusia? Taking care of a woman and taking care of your own creation, children, that is what we call worship. That is what we call African spirituality. Moving in Amakachirono, and that woman, we Africans should be able to take care of her, not as in buying her food, but we should take a critical look at the things, even the clothes she wears. She's trying to depict everything African. Out of nipe no wakodi wanu kura o nim nechi obeba no. She's still trying to dig deeper spiritually to know who she is. The reason she can sing forever, because she has added her real self into what she does. So everybody should make it a point to go and watch that movie. We're watching Spiritual Hour with Maame Grace. This year we are going to delve deeper into spirituality. I mean African spirituality. African spirituality is not evil. And African spirituality is not what you are killing animals and what have you for. If we want to talk about African spirituality, the platform is open. Let's sit down and talk about African spirituality. It's not about leaves or herbs or spices. It's our way of life. It's not spirituality. And killing animals, when did this started? When did this start? From where? How? By who? We would want to know. Until the platform is really, really open. Well, in this film, Beyonce pays tribute to Hathor, the first known African goddess of joy, femininity, motherhood, music, and dance. She is usually shown with horns and a sun disk, which represent her power and radiance. Some people have criticized Beyonce for this, saying that she is promoting devil worship and disrespecting our Jesus. Ha! Sometimes some of the things when you hear, somebody was saying that, Maame Grace, repent. It is because you've not gotten to the knowledge I have, or I have not gotten to the knowledge you have. Let's all give ourselves some time. If we can stop being judgmental and learn, we will get somewhere. Apart from that, if what you like is with you, go and do what you like. If you don't like what I do, leave me and let me do what I am doing, and let those who like it watch it, because at the end of the day, my salvation is not in your hands, the same way your salvation is not in my hand. Even the Bible has said that salvation is individual. A damn pan I emphasize Beyonce woman we enfanye. He's doing everything. No a shot adiebi, no chat adiebi, no a shot adiebi, no tung dumbi, no creative movie bi, no yes say trying to teach people. They want her to have a classroom and said media ba we yes so, media ba we yes so. This is where African wants easy life. Now you criticize the woman. So when I saw that thing, I was so sad for her. In Tadi Oshe, depicting Hathor, the way she sings, depicting Hathor, the way she dances, depicting Hathor. I can say this with confidence that Beyonce has really researched and has gotten to African spirituality, and she's really depicting it, and nobody can bring her down. Me, I don't know how to dance, and I don't know, I mean, her kind of way, but I mean, she's in her element. They thought that the horns were a sign of the Baphomet because Yakatre said the devil and the Baphomet and he has horns. All these are fallacy. If you don't know, you don't know. When you see a horn with the sun between the horn, this is African spirituality. It's not about killing good, but it's about taking care of each other, taking care of ourselves. The reason we've missed this mark, the reason self-hate and greediness is what is ruling us. And this is the reason where we will keep remaining down there. No matter what we have, despite all we have, we are still wallowing in poverty because we have lost our identity, we have lost our spirituality, and this is what is killing us. I'm sorry about Baphomet, but this is not true. Beyonce rather portrayed a deeper ancestral heritage of the first ever worship Hathor. She honored the creator and the creation. This shows that our ancestors had deep connection with nature and the cosmos, and that they use symbols and metaphors to express their understanding of the divine. This is what Beyonce displayed. When I started my shows and I got into darkness, I was called names. When I started my shows and I started bringing crystals into light, I was called names. When we get into Egypt, we will realize that our kings, our powers, our authorities were not doing anything without crystals. You don't know, and you don't want to learn, and you are being protective of those who will also say something for others to learn. Is the world yours? We are so there. Beyonce, Shantadi Oshe, me who and not me kuma. But those out there are digging deeper. We are here holding Jesus. I don't have a problem you holding your Jesus, but keep quiet and be there. Because there is time for everyone. The horn of Hathor, I want to explain because Obeka said, I don't know any Hathor na the way sisi ni tiri so no other. No, I want to explain this part. And son of madam no baphomet. When I saw that thing, me is so sad. Me see, hey, into Africa pa hifa and ye yako. Mami ya dio ye and kesi ye bono say na ye de to all at TV so ye post no any adeni ye de glorify no rather bash no Africa for na bash in the more abrofo no kra de omunia ma bi inform ho ba yen bibia ye evil black sheriff ye nyamu ya to nsuom ye nko ba bi ya dead career na ye didi ho e na abofre yi ofizongo ho enne nyame aye na dom no wapagya na koduru ho instead say ye be applaud no na ya boa no yes, or ye evil, nindum and to be wuna be. Why? Why are we hiding behind the Bible, doing all sort of evil at the boning kwana muhu? Maybe say why? Aden. I continue. The horn of Hathor is not a sign of the devil, but a sign of strength, courage, and leadership. The horn is also a sign of fertility, abundance, and creativity. It is said that a great famine hit the land of our ancestors, and Hathor, the goddess, the first deity, the woman who was in the skies, manifested herself as a cow and came down to feed her people with meat and milk, and skin to cover themselves. This is how cows enters this planet from the cosmos. Where so your history, you can go and read about it. When you read about this, then you will understand why the Muslims also use animal skin. It is all coming from Hathor. Because or no buy as according to story no and na obe breast no abemu wa ha say skies na ewo ni tiri so no eno and na all depict e wa hanom no. So stop saying say baphomet anything you see horn no. Na David Krasi ebeye no hene ne say omo de horn na ekota na asofo na nkasa nya horn ne kita omo horn na eno so abeda ne say ye BBC ro nya ne kita omo de anointing crofo no. Does it mean horn is evil? Why? If it is not in the church building, it is evil. Maybe say why? Is everything in the church good? I don't want to come your way anyways. But the way you people can look at things and put it in a place where you don't, especially anything they cannot do is evil in their eyes. This is Hathor. This is our first ever deity, our goddess, a woman. African spirituality is not about pouring libation and sharing and so. I'm not against anybody, but when we are talking about African spirituality or God, the way we talk, we should stop limiting them. Because anything that a man has to suffer to get, anything that does not benefit a man freely, like a man can get into the forest and get anything he wants to eat, like a man can get into the stream and drink freely like that, it is not God and it is not worship and it is not spirituality. Cows were not on the planet until Hathor came down as a cow to feed her people from hunger. And this thing that I'm saying, you know, everybody in every part of this world is depicting part of this story or this creation or this worship or this spirituality or this goddess Hathor somehow. When you go to India, they don't kill cows. Everybody is depicting somehow for everybody to know. Beyonce did not disrespect our faith, but celebrated it. She is not brainwashing us. No. No, baby, I would resistance. No, mudidi mami yatam na me hwe me gina chi na me hwe di na me say enti da ben e before da ben. But awakening us, and no, not Beyonce trying to tell us, say, wake up. This is what we call deity. This is what we call worship. This is what we call spirituality. And you were a woman and you are singing and you want to hate. You've lost your identity. What are you trying to do? Depression is stress in a begumuso. Na vibration and a vibration and a fire and a vibration and vibrating. Ubisane say what's the meaning of vibration cra? And I ask them 2024 cra frequency ben echo ruli should we put it on air? Beyonce, the baby Maame Abedru de Bronsam yede. She is not leading us astray, but leading us home. That is what Beyonce was doing. That my people, this is who we are. This is who we worship. This is our spirituality. This is what it can help. Everybody will eat and be satisfied. Greediness will go far from us. This is how far we've gone. Yayera completely, totally. You are watching Spiritual Hour with Maame Grace. So next time you watch Black is King, I want everybody to watch it with his or her consciousness. And I want you that is also be evil when you so now say D&D, and I want you to watch the movie called Get Out. I want you to watch it with your consciousness and tell me what you find. You can write it. Do so with an open mind and heart. I urge you to learn more about our history and culture. Next time someone asks about African spirituality, tell them the story of love, womanhood, and Hathor, the first known god to Africans or blacks. Until this is done, we are jokers. Obi Beka our platform. If you want to chew a cow or a goat, tell them to buy for you. Hathor doesn't drink blood, but he feeds his people. This story also teaches an important lesson that we may have created the gods. Remember, I taught you mankind created gods because they are not relevant if woman or man or mankind does not vibrate on them. So this is what we call African spirituality. My platform is open for your opinion. And I think we should hail Beyonce for bringing our minds back home, teaching us our culture, teaching us our origin, and teaching us our spirituality. If we want to do well, if we want to grow, if we want to liberate ourselves, indeed, if we want to talk about consciousness, fear, hate, and self-hate, greediness should go away from us because it's not our behaviors. We have to go down, and look into this and understand what is called African spirituality. This is where I will leave you for now. My time is due. I will come back next week with another episode. We are talking about African spirituality. What do you know about this? Your comment is welcome. Platform is open. I believe you. I believe you. I believe you. I believe you wherever you are. I send you love. I send you love. Love, and hate. Let's help each other so we are able to liberate our continent as Africans. Shalom. Peace.